Well, hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Joe on Joe. It is me, your host, Joe Slepski. This is the podcast where we've covered all of the episodes of the G.I. Joe cartoon. We've covered every issue of the G.I. Joe original Real American Hero comic book. And we've done a whole bunch of other fun stuff back in the day. So if you're new to the show, welcome aboard. Check out the archives. There is literally an episode for every episode of the show and of the issues and all that stuff. I was originally planning on today's episode being Special Missions number 2, because, we got to jump back on that. But not to get too, real, but it frequent, I feel like I need to address this. Frequent guest star on my podcast. You've all heard her in the background. Shirley Feeney, my sweet, sweet dog, passed away this weekend. So she was a bundle of love and a bundle of joy to her, both myself and to Twalatil, her mom. Just a delight. It was all very much a surprise, and we're all very sad around here. Mary Jane is still with us, but Mary Jane is most likely not the dog you heard on most of these episodes. If you heard a sharp barking in the background, you heard Shirley Feeney. So I was not in the mood, I guess, to do the special missions, but then it dawned on me and I completely forgot. Shirley Feeney was the voice of Junkyard in our G.I. Columbo episode. So I thought, you know what? I'm in tribute to my sweet baby girl. We're going to re-air G.I. Columbo. So right after this, it's the entire G.I. Columbo episode in full. You'll hear a dog barking. That is Shirley Feeney. And, just embrace your dogs, embrace your family, your friends. But, let your pets know you love them. You never know when or what'll happen around the corner. So, star of G.I. Columbo, Shirley Feeney, this one's for you. And hope you enjoy the episode. If you've never heard it before, it is our G.I. Joe parody where Columbo joins the G.I. Joe team for an episode. And it's one of my favorite things we've ever done on this show. I really love it. And when you hear her bark, what you're actually going to be hearing is her actually barking at the sound of our doorbell, because she went crazy at the doorbell bark. Anytime anyone delivered something, she lost her mind. So I needed to get a dog bark on the recording. And I'm not joking. That day I ordered, what do you call it? Uber Eats or whatever. I ordered delivery specifically to get the guy to ring the doorbell. And I had the mic recording and ready to go. And when he showed up, he didn't ring the doorbell. He first went to the wrong address and called my phone. And then I told him to go to the right address. And then he called me again on the phone and he said, "I'm here." But I specifically needed him to ring the doorbell, but I didn't want to say that. So I just said, what I kept saying is, "Yeah, ring the doorbell." And he's like, "But I'm here." And I kept saying, "Yeah, but ring the doorbell." He probably thought I was insane. And sure enough, he did ring the doorbell. And sure enough, we got a good bark out of Shirley, which is then the bark that's used on this episode. So that is absolutely true. The adventures of being dumb and doing a podcast. So, I hope you're all going to enjoy this. Again, I will. This is one of my favorite things we've done. I think it's so silly, and it spawned a whole bunch of jokes. And I actually been inspired to do some not necessarily related to this, but something new along this line may come out before the end of the summer, I'm thinking. So whatever. Anyway, I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. So you guys are the best. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for supporting the show for all these years. You guys are always great. All our contests have been sent out. Everyone that reached out, you're fantastic. And just enjoy this. Enjoy Shirley Feeney starring in G.I. Columbo.
Joe. Slepski!
It's me, your host, Joe Slepski, and welcome to all of our new and returning listeners. This is the podcast where I go through G.I. Joe comic books and cartoons, page by page, panel by panel. Be sure to follow me on social media at Joe on Joe Pods, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and send me an email to joeandjoepod@gmail.com. Let me know what you think. And check out our wonderful sponsor, the Movies and a Meal podcast. Now, they've got all of your hot movie talk, and be sure to rate and review both of our shows. Now, today, I have an extremely special treat for you. Back in 1986, some nameless Sunbow executive pitched the crossover to top all crossovers. In the spirit of Harlem Globetrotters on Gilligan's Island, Scooby-Doo meets the Batman, this executive wanted to combine two great creations for one epic animated adventure. That's right, G.I. Joe meets Columbo. Now, his idea was to entertain both the kids, who were already G.I. Joe fans, of course, and their parents, who were watching TV's greatest detective, Columbo. This project got much further into production than you'd imagine. It was never animated. However, they did capture a full vocal performance prior to the project getting shelved. This is that recording. You'll notice that they added some narration to the piece to describe the non-existent animation. This was for the suits at Universal to understand some of the action. Hasbro anticipated a toy line for Columbo, as you'll also hear. My understanding is that would have been a sub-team, like Tiger Force, and brought in other characters like Policewoman, Quincy, and even Kojak. I imagine they'd even eventually get to Magnum P.I., Riptide, and maybe even Jake and the Fat Man. Now, Universal producers were so confident about this project that they went a step further. They locked in actual product placement, as was beginning to be the trend on live-action TV at the time. Sadly, it never got beyond the stage you're about to hear, as some TV executive with no taste and even less courage turned down the project. Their loss is our gain, as I now present to you, for the first time ever, G.I. Columbo.
Yo, Joe!
He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there. It's G.I. Joe against Cobra the enemy, fighting to save the day. He never gives up, he's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained Special Mission Force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
He never gives up, he'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe will dare. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe.
It's midday at the G.I. Joe headquarters as we look in on the Pit Computer Center, where Top Joe operatives Mainframe and Sparks work hard to keep the world safe from the evil forces of Cobra.
All right, Sparks, give it a try.
Nothing, Mainframe. I still can't get a signal.
Well, old buddy, here's the problem.
Mainframe removes an old, smoldering circuit board.
This circuit board is the wrong kind. It's built to interface with only 8 kilobytes of RAM. These new ones I installed have 32 kilobytes. This is old tech.
But I just installed that in 1984.
It's 1986, Sparks. Like Ferris Bueller says, life and technology moves pretty fast. That's why Hawk brought me onto this team. But don't worry, we'll get you up to speed.
Are you saying I'm obsolete? Listen here, rookie. I've been with G.I. Joe since Cobra first reared their ugly scales. I'll learn this new tech just fine. Pass me those 5 1/4 boot discs. I need some fresh air.
I didn't mean anything by that, Sparks. But also, we don't use 5 1/4 inch discs anymore. I upgraded the Pit to 3.5 inch, a full 1.44 megabytes of storage.
Rub it in, why don't you? I'm out of here.
Sparks runs out of the computer center, bumping into Scarlet, who's just entering the room.
Hey, watch it.
Sorry, Scarlet. I just can't do anything right today.
Sparks runs off in tears.
What's eating Sparks?
The same thing that consumes all men. Progress.
Say, I wanted to see if you were still on for dinner tonight. Duke and I are dying to meet your new girlfriend.
Oh geez, Scarlet, I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you. Zorana and I, well, we broke up.
Oh, Mainframe, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, well, we had some irreconcilable professional differences, let's put it that way.
You don't seem too broken up about it.
Well, life is long. Who knows where our hearts will lead us?
I like that attitude, Mainframe. You're going to go far in this unit.
Yojo!
Really?
Yojo!
I know you're new here, but you can do better.
Yojo!
Good job, rookie.
Exiting the computer center, Scarlet heads down the hallway towards the sound of sobbing, where she finds Sparks huddled in a corner, crying to himself.
Hey, Sparks,
Leave me alone. Can a man cry in peace?
Sparks runs off, tears streaming down his face.
Oh, Sparks, you might be the loneliest Joe of all.
Just then, Snake Eyes walks by, shaking his head in disbelief. Back in the computer center, Mainframe is hard at work, preparing schematics for his next big breakthrough in the war against Cobra, while a shadow crosses the door.
Mainframe.
Oh, hey, Sparks. Listen, I was a little harsh earlier. I'm really sorry.
A blue laser ignites the air, striking Mainframe square in the chest. Mainframe slumps to the ground, struck down by the assassin's blast.
Is a laser to the chest modern enough for you?
Sparks quickly checks the hallway, ensuring no witnesses. Satisfied, he drags Mainframe's limp carcass into the swivel chair. Sparks then wipes down the still smoking laser rifle and places it in Mainframe's cold, inert right hand. Producing an IBM 3.5-inch floppy disk, Sparks attempts to insert it into the computer.
Okay, now, how do I print this? Jeez, I should have paid more attention.
Finally locating the print command, Spark tears off a freshly printed goodbye note from the top-of-the-line Epson EX800 9-pin dot matrix printer. He places this crisp, professionally printed note into Mainframe's lifeless left hand. Satisfied that he's arranged the scene, Sparks turns off the lights and quietly exits the computer center. He doesn't have to worry about turning off the Epson EX800 9-pin dot matrix printer, as it has auto shut-off capabilities. Moments later, Scarlet again enters the computer center.
Mainframe, good news. I dialed up an old girlfriend of mine, and if you're game for a double date, Duke and I still have reservations.
As the lights flicker on, Scarlet stares at the lifeless, slack-jawed body of Mainframe, slumped in his chair.
Oh, Mainframe, no.
Elsewhere in the pit, the G.I. Joe dog handler, codenamed Mutt, escorts a very special guest through their reception center.
So you see, Unc, that a day in the pit, even an off day like today, is never really relaxed.
Boy, I'll tell you, Stanley, this is all just way bigger than when I was in the service.
Uncle, how many times do I have to ask? Everyone here calls me Mutt.
You can't be Mutt, your dog's a Mutt. But his name is Junkyard. Why don't you call him Mutt? You're Stanley.
Junkyard rolls through the hall, chased by a portly but nimble basset hound.
Junk, get back here!
Just what in the Sam Hill is going on around here? Mutt, explain yourself.
Sorry, General Hawk, sir. This is my uncle, Lieutenant Columbo. He's visiting today. It being bring your uncle to work day and all.
I know what day it is, soldier. You don't have to remind me of my favorite day of the year. I want to know why your Mutt's causing such a ruckus.
I'm Mutt, sir. He's Junkyard.
That's probably my fault. I brought Dog today. He's usually not this excitable.
Mutt.
I'm sorry, sir. I'll go get them, sir.
Mutt chases after Junkyard, leaving General Hawk and Lieutenant Columbo together.
Lieutenant Columbo, eh? What branch?
LAPD, sir. Homicide Division.
Oh, pleasure to meet you, Lieutenant.
Columbo delivers a crisp salute, the kind that only a veteran can.
Yes, sir, General Hawk, sir.
Ah, military man as well. I see where Mutt gets his devotion to duty.
Well, Stanley's from my missus' side. She's always after me to spend more time with her nephew. He's a good kid.
Dock to the computer center ASAP. Man down. Repeat, dock to the computer center ASAP.
If you don't mind, Lieutenant, I can't leave you alone here. Come with me?
Of course, General.
General Hawk and Lieutenant Columbo arrive at the computer center to find Doc crouched over Mainframe's cold, lifeless, sheet-covered body. Scarlet, Sparks, and Snake Eyes stand vigil.
It's Mainframe, sir. He's gone. Self-inflicted blast to the chest.
Here? In the pit?
Left a note and everything.
Let me take a look at that. You don't mind, do you?
Excuse me.
I'm sorry, Doc. This is Lieutenant Columbo, LAPD Homicide.
LAPD Homicide? A little out of your jurisdiction, don't you think?
Oh, I'm I'm just making myself useful. Let me see what you have here.
Columbo takes the crumpled note from Doc.
Serana is my everything. My world, my life. Without her beautiful, perfect face, her bright pink hair, the way her scowl looks in just the right light, there is no point in continuing. I'm sorry for all the trouble I caused everyone, especially to Sparks, without whom the very minimal success I've had in my brief time with the Joes would not have been possible. In fact, it's best you all forget I was ever part of the team and move on without me. Signed, Mainframe. This looks to me like a standard Lonely Hearts note. Who's this Sparks fella he speaks so highly of?
That would be me, Lieutenant.
And you work with the victim here in the computer center?
Victim? Columbo, this is no murder.
Oh, sure, of course. Sorry, Doc. Professional habit.
You have reason to think otherwise?
Well, General, sir, it's just, do you mind?
Doc steps to the side as Columbo motions towards the flaccid, pale form of Mainframe.
His watch, sir.
Standard Joe issue. What of it?
It's on his right wrist, sir.
Yes, Mainframe was left-handed. I don't know where this is going, but it had better be good.
The gun is in his right hand.
In my experience, a left-handed person would not shoot himself with his offhand.
Lock down the pit. We have a murderer in our midst.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
Nobody beats G.I. Joe!
It's the Barney's Beanery action set. Plenty of space for Columbo to eat chili, smoke cigars, and solve murders.
Whoa, this chili is delicious.
Keep the cup. I want a bowl.
Free parking for your 1959 Peugeot.
Watch where you park. This is an active crime scene.
Includes 2 exclusive victims with multiple murder weapons.
This guy was poisoned.
This guy was shot.
Your victim is fresher than his chili, that's for sure.
With action spinning floors for when Columbo needs to make a pivot.
Just one more thing. You're going to jail.
Columbo, the 1959 Peugeot, and Barney's Beanery playset all sold separately. Rooftop graffiti absolutely not included.
Yo, Columbo.
Now, back to G.I. Joe.
In the pit's mess hall, General Hawk stands alongside Columbo, addressing the troops. A small gathering of on-duty Joes have assembled, including Scarlet, Mutt, Sparks, Doc, Breaker, Snake Eyes, Blowtorch, Shipwreck and Polly, Wild Bill, Bazooka, Quick Kick, Alpine, Zap, Flash, Grunt, Steeler, Duke, Leatherneck, Wetsuit, Covergirl, Airborne, Grand Slam, Footloose, Ace, Deep Six, Ripcord, Cutter, Blowtorch, Clutch, Thunder, Rock and Roll, Lift Ticket, Ace, Stalker, Shorefuse, Lady J, Keelhaul, Footloose, Crankcase, Frostbite, Shooter, Tollbooth, Claymore, Iceberg, Torpedo, Barbecue, Sergeant Slaughter, Dial Tone, Airtight, Cross Country, Beachhead, Sci-Fi, Lifeline, Slipstream, Lowlight, Heavy Metal, Dusty, Ricondo, Gung Ho, Snowjob, Tripwire, and Spirit. Timber and Freedom are unavailable.
So that's the situation, folks. Until we find this murderer, the pit is locked down. No one, no calls, no letters, nothing in or nothing out.
There's a killer out there, but we don't know where.
Technically speaking, there's a killer in here.
Columbo, surely you can't be accusing a Joe of murder.
Those are fighting words.
Hey now, my uncle's not accusing anyone of anything. Are you, Unc?
He better not be talking trash, because I'm going to knock him on his ass.
No, I'm not pointing any fingers, per se. I'm just pointing out that if we have a murder, and the building is sealed tight, and all the inhabitants are here in this room, then it seems to me, and I'm just thinking out loud, that one of us is the killer.
You're the only new guy here. Maybe you killed Mainframe.
Columbo was with me when this happened.
Snake Eyes, the mute ninja, respected by all, steps forward, silencing the crowd. He motions with a sweeping wave of his hands.
This gentleman in black has a good point. Let's all settle down and go about this in an orderly fashion.
You understood Snake Eyes?
Sure. What's there not to understand?
It's just, I've known him for years. We all have, and he's just so mysterious.
Snake Eyes nods.
You're right. Snake Eyes, is it? Yeah, what he just said.
What? What did he say?
Snake Eyes tilts his head.
Well, I agree, Mr. Eyes. It's as clear as day. But I have to prove it.
Snake Eyes nods his head in agreement, then twists away back into the small assemblage of Joes.
Seriously, what did he just say?
Never mind, we'll get to that. Say, is that chili I smell?
It sure is. I've got a pot of chili churning, and if I don't hustle, it'll be burning.
Dismissed, Joes. Go about your duties. Lieutenant Columbo will be speaking with all of you in turn.
The gaggle of Joes disperse, all except Timber and Freedom, of course, who were unavailable. Sparks makes his way into an unused janitorial closet and produces a previously concealed video phone.
Zartan, you've got to get me out of here.
Sparks! What did I tell you? You are on your own. Lose this number.
But the mission is complete. Mainframe won't be a problem anymore. Now they've locked this place up tighter than an eel's bottom. I'm stuck.
That seems to be a you problem.
If I get caught, it'll be a dreadnought problem.
Oh no! Are you going to tell them that Cobra was behind this assassination? Of course Cobra is behind this. We're behind everything that vexes the G.I. Joe team.
Then I'll tell them where to find you.
You mean our gas station in the Jersey swamps, where they already know we live? Or the officially recognized by the United Nations Cobra Island? Oh, I know! The consulate building with the giant snake head on it in the heart of Midtown. Or Extensive Enterprises, where we have literally launched a ballistic missile from.
I'm in trouble, Zartan.
You're breaking up. I can't hear you.
I said I'm in trouble.
No, sorry, still can't hear you. I have to let you go. Torch just showed up with some fresh donuts. Ta-ta!
Exiting the closet, Sparks encounters Columbo, who has been quietly standing next to the door.
Hey, just the guy I was looking for. You know, for the closest thing we have to a witness on this case, you sure are hard to find.
I'm sorry, I was making a call.
A call? From the closet?
A private call.
I thought the pit was on lockdown.
Well, it is.
Which means, and pardon me if I'm incorrect, no calls in or out.
I was testing the security of a complete lockdown. Okay. I just wanted some privacy. Listen, the guys give me enough grief around here for being a complete computer geek. I don't need them to see me cry. Again.
I completely understand. Say, you have a few minutes? I've got some questions.
I was gonna get some dinner. In all this excitement, I haven't eaten all day.
Perfect. I've been thinking about that chili since the big guy rhymed about it. I could use some myself.
Back in the mess hall, Roadblock happily serves his famous chili to the assembled Joes. Columbo and Sparks take their place in line.
Come on and hurry. Get your chili hot. If you're sad about Mainframe, this'll hit the spot.
So, Spanks, you've been with the team since its start, right?
It's Sparks, and yes, that's true. Not that anyone remembers.
Well, that don't sound good.
It's just, I'm always the forgotten Joe. I mean, I was there when Cobra first struck, and again when they got revenge. Then all of a sudden, they don't need me anymore.
Especially since Mainframe joined.
Well, I don't mean it like that. The way you put it, it sounds like a...
Motive?
Hey, man, don't hold up my line. If your chili's getting cold, the fault won't be mine.
Oh boy, that smells delicious. Say, you got any crackers for that?
Man, crackers is all we got in G.I. Joe. What you want is made by Nabisco.
Man, that is delicious. I'm gonna have to tell my pal Barney about this. Any chance you could share the recipe?
My secrets are safe, locked tight in a chest. Mine is bulletproof, just like my new vest.
Oh, that's good. I'm gonna have to tell the missus. What did you say your name was again?
Roblox's my name, Chili's my game.
Well, Columbo's my name, and murder's my game. I guess that's just the same rhyme you did.
Yeah, you just copied what I said there, but worse, because you don't have any rhythm. Now you've broken my rhyme. It's like your ruffled presence is negating my style.
I'm just gonna go.
I think that's for the best.
Just like your vest.
Leave. Now, before I get my deuce.
Just one more.
I'm not even playing.
Columbo wisely steps away and sits across from Sparks at a nearby table.
So, Lieutenant Columbo.
Just Columbo. No need for the pleasantries.
So, Columbo, you wanted to know more about Mainframe?
No, actually, I I wanted to learn more about you, Sparkplug. You've been with the Joes since the beginning, but not too many missions lately.
How do you...
General Hawk gave me last year's roster duty. I see a lot of guys here on multiple missions. This Snake Eyes fella, boy, he's on almost every team. Scarlet and Duke, Flint, and they're all very busy. I see you only went on this one operation. Something in New Jersey. After that, nothing.
Rough mission.
I'm sure. Anything you can share?
Well, we were acting on rumors of a Dreadnought enclave.
Do I even want to ask what a Dreadnought is?
Dreadnought. Knock. Think bikers on steroids, and very dumb. But very gifted musically. Have you heard Cold Slither? Anyway, the mission needed a computer expert, and I was tasked to hack a mainframe, ironically enough, so they brought me along.
But you've been shelved ever since.
I wouldn't look at it that way. I mean, I've had to rewire this whole place. Upgrade sound cards, the MIDI software alone. There's talk of installing Windows next year. I mean, imagine Windows in an underground base.
You sound very busy. Well, I don't mean to keep you. Plus, I have to find Dog. He's running around here somewhere.
Columbo stands, begins to walk away, then pauses and turns.
You know, just one more thing. If there weren't enough missions for you, why did General Hawk feel the need to bring in a second computer specialist?
Excuse me?
I mean, it's right here in the roster sheets. You may not have been going on these special missions, but Mainframe sure was.
I'm not aware of that. I don't obsess over my partner's work schedule.
It's just, if one of you was out, the other would stay on duty here. Seems to me that someone like yourself, attention to detail, process-oriented fella, would have noticed a change in schedules.
Well, I did not.
Did not, sure.
In fact, Lieutenant Columbo, if you have any questions about another squad mate's schedule, mainframe or otherwise, I'd suggest you take it up with General Hawk.
Oh, I will, of course. I'm sorry, didn't mean to upset you there. Not my intention. I'll be going now.
Columbo again turns to leave, and again stops.
Before I go...
Yes, Columbo?
Are you gonna finish that chili? I hate to see it go to waste, and you don't look very hungry.
I have lost my appetite. You can have my chili, Lieutenant.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Oh, geez, thanks. I wanted more, but frankly, I don't think that big fella appreciates me.
Of that, Roadblock and I are of like minds. Good day, Columbo.
Sparks leaves the table as Columbo sits back down to finish off the now abandoned bowl of chili.
Mutt, please report to the kennels. Junkyard has been locked in and is being... This can't be right. He's being taunted by a large basset hound.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe.
Cobra's murdered a prominent local racetrack owner. Call in G.I. Joe.
Go get Lieutenant Columbo. He can solve the murder.
And here's Columbo with realistic raincoat and cigar.
Go get Columbo's 1959 Peugeot Cabriolet.
The 1959 Peugeot has real working doors.
Just one more thing.
You're right, Columbo. I killed that guy.
Lieutenant Columbo 1959 Peugeot, each sold separately from Hasbro.
Now, back to G.I. Joe.
Night has fallen, and inside Interrogation Room 1, Snake Eyes sits patiently, waiting for Columbo to arrive. On the table before him, knives are meticulously displayed as a show of peace to his soon-to-arrive interrogator. Seconds turn to minutes as Snake Eyes' patience wears thin. A harried Columbo finally enters to find Snake Eyes throwing knives into the ceiling like a bored kid stuck in detention.
I'm really sorry for being late. You know how confusing this place can be. Of course you know you live here. You must get lost like once a month.
Snake Eyes nods silently.
A week? Well, then I don't feel so bad.
The two titans of justice shake hands.
Quite a grip there. Whoa, boy. They tell me you're into martial arts. You know, I took a little karate class once. Mrs. Columbo got me into it. I'm an orange belt myself. What color are you?
The Ninja Master shrugs.
Whoa, black belt? Well, I've never met a black belt before. I'm wearing a black leather one, does that count? And all these knives. I suppose they're yours. Good thing your friend wasn't stabbed in the back. I think we'd have to look closer at you.
Snake Eyes stares silently.
What am I saying? Of course. Mainframe was a friend of yours. That was insensitive of me. Now, I'm meeting with all the Joes on duty today. Consider this a formality.
The Silent Master bows his head.
Right. So, at the time of Mainframe's demise, where were you?
The visored commando turns his head.
A private dojo. And this kick-quick fellow can corroborate that?
The black-clad master of martial arts nods quietly.
Quicker, kicker, what did I say?
The most mysterious of all Joes looks off into the distance.
We're talking about the fellow with no shirt or shoes? You know what? I'll follow up with him later. Now, about Mainframe's killer.
The master of the Arashikage mindset looks towards the floor.
I see what you mean. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I agree. I look for motive, means, and opportunity. We both know there's only one Joe that fits that bill here.
Columbo stands as Snake Eyes mirrors him and offers a deep bow of respect. Columbo returns that bow and heads to the door.
You know, there was something bothering me.
Snake Eyes pauses his rearming process.
Forget it.
Columbo exits as Snake Eyes proceeds to pull his knives out of the ceiling. Inside the computer center, General Hawk, Scarlet, and Breaker stand in front of a computer screen as Columbo belatedly enters.
There you are, Lieutenant. Breaker was just calling up the security footage.
See here, that's Mainframe working. Then there's all this fuzz on the tape, then a blue flash. When that clears up, we see Mainframe slumped over.
Someone tampered with the tape?
Well, that's just the thing, Scarlet. I don't know how they could have. These Betamax tapes are locked down in the Pitts data center. Absolutely no one had access until General Hawk and I just now.
But what's causing static interference? Could someone have done it remotely?
The system is hardwired. It's a closed circuit.
That means the interference had to be at the source.
Well, don't keep us in suspense, Columbo.
It's just logical that if the tape wasn't tampered with, as Breakfast says...
Breaker.
What did I say?
Breakfast.
Oh, no thanks. I just ate. Have you tried Robump's chili? Fantastic.
Lieutenant Columbo, spit it out, man!
Well, the interference is real. That we all agree. And it didn't happen in your data center. So logically, what we're seeing is what happened live.
But who can fuzz out security cameras?
Don't you mean what?
No, Columbo. Don't mansplain me. I said who, I meant who. We have many enemies in Cobra with unique abilities.
Crystal Ball can hypnotize people. Dr. Mindbender can hypnotize people. Dr. Venom brainwash people.
I'm starting to see a trend.
You're missing the obvious here. Zartan.
Marzipan? Oh, I love marzipan. Mrs. Columbo has the best recipe, but she only breaks it out at Christmas time.
No, Zartan, the Cobra Master of Disguise. He can generate holograms and disguise himself or others as whatever he wants.
So he could be anyone, then.
Columbo takes a suspicious step back as his eyes dart around the room.
Out with it, Columbo!
I'm just thinking that if he can be anyone, then no one has an alibi. Any one of you Joes could be Zartan.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe.
Everyone's favorite Rumple detective joins the G.I. Joe team as their chief investigator.
Hey, look! A dead body! Is it a cobra? No, it's someone we care about. We better call Columbo.
Lieutenant Columbo, Los Angeles Police Department, homicide.
The new G.I. Joe Sonic Fighter Columbo action figure comes with dialogue ripped straight from the show.
How do you do? Excuse me, watch my hand. It's full of grease. This is my dinner. Would you like a piece of chicken?
Columbo has an authentic rumpled raincoat and that realistic cigar smell.
Hey, is someone smoking in here?
No, Mom. That's just Columbo.
Oh, Columbo.
With left like tousled hair and one more thin grip, he'll catch your killer, or his name's not Lieutenant Columbo.
The survivor was found without a hat, Columbo.
Means, opportunity, motive.
Motive, means, and opportunity. That's what Columbo always says. You're going to jail, Zartan. This time for Murder 1.
Did someone just say Murder 1?
Look for G.I. Joe Sonic Fighter Columbo in stores this holiday season.
Yo Columbo!
Now, back to G.I. Joe.
The few Joes that are on duty have again assembled in the mess hall. Columbo and General Hawk stand before the roster of highly trained soldiers, including Scarlet, Mutt, Sparks, Doc, Breaker, Snake Eyes, Blowtorch, Shipwreck and Polly, Wild Bill, Bazooka, Quick Kick, Alpine, Zap, Flash, Grunt, Steeler, Duke, Leatherneck, Wetsuit, Covergirl, Airborne, Grand Slam, Footloose, Ace, Deep Six, Ripcord, Cutter, Blowtorch, Clutch, Thunder, Rock and Roll, Lift Ticket, Ace, Stalker, Short Fuse, Lady J, Keelhaul, Footloose, Crankcase, Frostbite, Shooter, Tollbooth, Claymore, Iceberg, Torpedo, Barbecue, Sergeant Slaughter, Dial Tone, Airtight, Cross Country, Beachhead, Sci-Fi, Lifeline, Slipstream, Lowlight, Heavy Metal, Dusty, Recondo, Gung Ho, Snow Job, Tripwire, and Spirit. Timber and Freedom are still on leave.
Attend hut! We are here today because one of our own has fallen. And sadly, it appears one of our own is responsible. After an exhaustive and frustratingly oblique investigation, Lieutenant Columbo has some conclusions. Lieutenant?
I won't keep you all very long. I know that you're very busy. After looking at the overwhelming evidence and interviewing each one of you, like Blowtouch, Thunderclap, Lady Jane, Crankface.
Minutes pass.
I was unable to reach Freedom and Timber. Imagine that, me talking to a bird and a wolf. Finally, Breakdance here told me you had an enemy that could change their appearance.
In the crowd of Joes, Sparks begins creeping towards the exit.
Zartini? Was that his name?
Zartan.
Zarman.
Zartan.
Zarzan. Anyway, all the pieces fell into place. I mean, you got a guy that can disguise himself. That's the kind of information that should have been shared earlier. Anyway, the killer can really only be one man. Or should I say, woman. Stanley, please arrest Scarenet.
Mutt steps forward, handcuffs in hand, ready to arrest a shocked Scarlet. She pivots out of his grasp, delivering a sidekick, knocking Mutt to the ground. Snake Eyes and Quick Kick jump in to subdue her.
You got it all wrong. I'm just a patsy.
Let's just see who's the patsy here.
General Hawk grabs Scarlet by the collar and removes a rubber mask to reveal the face of Zartan, Master of Disguise.
You fools! You'll never keep me!
Mutt and Snake Eyes escort the handcuffed Zartan to the detention center as she kicks and resists.
Well, Joes, all we have left to do is mourn our lost friend Mainframe. Columbo, thank you for everything. Without you, I'm sure Zartan would have gotten away with it.
No thanks necessary, General Hawk, sir. I'm just happy I could be of service. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go find Dog. He's somewhere around here. And Mrs. Columbo would murder me if I didn't bring him home.
We already have too many animals on this team.
And too many murders.
Columbo exits in search of Dog, while the Joes disperse.
Sparks, a moment.
Yes, sir. General Hawk?
Once they have Zartan secured in the detention center, I'll need you to go down there and run a full diagnostic scan. Make sure our security sensors are in tip-top shape. I won't have this cagey chameleon slipping out of our hands again.
Of course, General Hawk. Sir, you have my word.
Good, Sparks. Just want you to know, we're all counting on you.
Later, in the detention center, Zartan sits alone, deep in shadows, hiding from the bright lights. A power inhibitor is on his neck, preventing him from changing appearance. Sparks enters, carrying scanning equipment.
Zartan.
Spanx, we meet again.
1 second while I turn this on.
Sparks produces a jamming device, blocking all local surveillance.
That'll buy us a few minutes. What are you doing here? I told you to get me out, not insert yourself in.
You don't say.
And now you're locked up, ironically, for the one murder you didn't commit. I'll never get the credit I deserve.
You're telling me?
Here's what's gonna happen. This hologram will look like you're still in the cell playing chess. Once I turn off your inhibitor, you'll change into another Joe. Then we both slip out and leave these fools behind for good. Okay, you can change now.
Change into what?
I don't care. Any one of those Joes is fine. Preferably someone no one thinks about. Grunt, Shooter, that clown Columbo.
Well, hey now.
What are you waiting for? Hold on. Do you smell cigars?
Sparks moves in for a closer look.
Your face, it's... rubber?
Reaching for Zartan, Sparks removes a rubber mask.
Well, I've been called a lot of names in my time. Frumpy, wrinkled, smoky, degenerate, but rubber, that's a new one.
Columbo?
You all heard him, right?
From out of the deep shadows, Scarlet, Mutt, Breaker, Snake Eyes, and General Hawk emerge.
We sure did. Sparks, you're under arrest.
How did you? What's going on?
It was simple, really. Upstairs, I masqueraded as Zartan to take the blame. Then Columbo took over the disguise.
I had all the pieces I needed. The offhanded shot, your self-projecting Lonely Hearts note, the blaster-fired Cobra Blue. Method, opportunity, and I just needed motive.
You think my motive was that I felt obsolete? Ha! That'll never stick in court.
No, I think you killed Mainframe because he broke up with your sister. Wouldn't you agree, Xandar?
Mutt steps forward and rips a face mask off of Sparks to reveal Xandar, the forgotten brother of Zartan.
How did you know?
Sparks was the obvious killer. I mean, that wasn't even in doubt.
Snake Eyes nods in agreement.
I just had to figure out the why.
That's where I came in. Xandar, you called Zartan 2 hours ago.
But I hit star 69. I think.
Yeah, that doesn't do anything. The pit is the most secure building in the world. If you think that's going to fool me, maybe dial to him, but come on, I'm Breaker.
Once they told me about the whole Zartan family and the shape-shifting and all that. Wow, I mean, who would have imagined that? A whole family of people that can look like other people. Is that hereditary, or you mutants or something? Shouldn't someone be studying these people?
And then Mainframe's recent breakup with Zorana?
It all fell into place.
But Uncle Columbo, what about the real Sparks?
I don't think there ever was one, Stanley. Sparks was Xander the whole time.
We started to suspect you after that New Jersey operation. Mainframe pointed out you didn't even know what RAM was.
Of course I do. It's your motorcycle.
Random access memory.
Of course I remember it. I just said it.
No, I mean that's what RAM is.
That's what I said, parked in your motor pool.
No, it's all around us in these computers.
How can a motorcycle be in a computer?
Not the motorcycle, the RAM.
That's what I said! Am I hallucinating? Is this some kind of mirage?
No, that's our new motorcycle.
First base.
I've had you under surveillance this whole time. Too bad a Joe had to die in order to prove your treachery.
Maybe not. General Hawk, you've got an urgent call from Doc.
Breaker hands General Hawk the telephone.
Men, Doc says Mainframe's gonna be A-OK.
Well, what do you know? He wasn't even dead. Looks like our friend Xandar here's a failure on all fronts.
Wait. You got it right. You said my name. You remembered me. All this time, the one person that remembers me is my jailer. There's a message in there. Perhaps this is my chance to break free from my family burden of crime. I can be my own man. My own Xandar. My own...
Oh, jeez. I think Junkyard had it the worst of all of us today. I'm coming, Junk.
Inside a military courtroom, a judge sits in front of Xandar, Columbo, and General Hawk.
Order. Bring this courtroom to order. In light of the gross negligence on part of Lieutenant Columbo, lack of Miranda rights, zero chain of evidence, and wild supposition by the detective, I have no choice but to release the defendant, Xandar, on his own lack of recognizance.
I knew I'd be exonerated. Thank you, Columbo. You mad genius, you.
Well, I guess that checks out.
Columbo, I see you're having some legal problems.
Well, General, it seems the evidentiary and crime-solving standards of 1970s detectives just doesn't cut it in the 80s.
What you really need is a refresher in constitutional law. Not to mention illegal search and seizure, breaking and entering, and a host of other laws you flaunt with every arrest.
Ah, geez, I guess you're right. I'm just used to my suspects realizing they're outmatched and confessing outright.
Once they lawyer up, they'll plead the fifth, and all your confessions will be inadmissible.
I suppose you're right, General Hawk. Now I know.
And knowing is...
Just one thing, though. Most of the time I get these guys to admit it in front of other police officers. Doesn't that count?
I don't know. Judge?
Get out of my court.
Well, now I know.
And knowing is half...
Now hold on. Suppose the accused displays knowledge that only the killer could have known about. You're telling me that's not admissible?
Do they leave evidence that can hold up in court? Or are they just reaching for a random object that happened to be the murder weapon?
Random object.
Then no.
Well, Jace, now I know.
And knowing is half the...
What?
You're not going to interrupt again?
Who, me? No, just pretend I'm not here. Go ahead and finish your tagline.
Battle!
Yo, Columbo!
G.I. Joe!
You've been listening to G.I. Columbo, written, produced, and narrated by Joe Slepski. Special thanks to Matt Plossman and Jeremiah Stafford for creative assistance, and to Philip Barnes for our fabulous artwork, featuring an all-star cast of these amazing actors. Doug Erholtz as Lieutenant Columbo, Alex Tortora as Sparks Xandar, Matt Plossman as both Mainframe and Snake Eyes, Mike Irizarry as General Hawk, Maria Wojciechowski as Scarlet, Von Dexter Montague II as Doc, Wayne Graham as Breaker, Stephen Jubber as Zartan, Troy Smith as Mutt, Gary King Jr. as Roadblock, Rebecca Wollensack as the Commercial Mom, Christine Blackburn as the PSA Judge, and introducing Lily Bella, Jasmine, Johannes, and Nadia as the Commercial Kids, with special guest Shirley Feeney as Junkyard. G.I. Joe and all associated characters are copyright Hasbro. Columbo is copyright Universal Television, created by William Link and Richard Levinson, brilliantly portrayed for over 30 years by Peter Falk. Just one more thing. If this is your first exposure to Columbo, I urge you to seek out more. It is a fabulous series with amazing guest stars and Peter Falk putting on a masterclass in acting with every episode. Thank you for listening. Now you Joe, and Joeing is half the battle.